Alright guys, you're welcome to another interesting episode of Pop Culture right here on T Solid Media. You know, right here on T Solid Media and Pop Culture, we hook you up with the best, latest right there in the entertainment world as regards Nigeria. And well, today on this episode, we shall going to be looking at 2018 in retrospect, as regards the music industry right here in the country. Well, sure, a lot of artists right there in 2018 did a whole lot of massive job, massive hits, they dropped a lot of them. Likes of Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido did a whole lot of good for themselves. And in the music industry as well. But lots of men, I call them men, are actually behind major of these hits. They are the backbones, of these major songs out there right in the country. And I'm talking about, our producers. Most of these producers are not really appreciated for who they are and what they do, for their talents, for their crafts and everything. So today we're gonna be looking at the top 10 producers right there in the country, in 2018 in retrospect, how they fared, how they did well. Well, on my list today, I've got right there on the 10, I will sure going to be counting down. And what 10 on my list, I've got Oscar Eman-Aka. I know you lots don't really know who Oscar is, but Oscar is one marvelous producer out there. He's been doing a lot of jobs, for as far back as 2006 and all that. And he produced a major hit that was as 2006, 2007. That's for P-Square and Don Jazzy. That's some collabo, and that was it was a massive hit back then. But in 2018 he produced most of those songs right there on C-Muse album. It was lit. So Oscar, props up to Oscar. He did a wonderful job on C-Muse album. Most of those songs out there by C-Muse was done by Oscar Eman-Aka. And number 9 on my list today has got to be Fuse. Fuse, a producer right there under the YBNL label, and he's been doing a lot of good for himself. All since his break into the music industry. But this year so far, 2018 so far has been a fairly quiet year for him. He's not really done much as regards music productions and all that. But the few he has done, I think he's done very brilliantly well. And well, on those lists, he's produced Criteria by Olamide. He produced Onyoma by Fino, one popular song back in those days. Back in 2018 then. And I think he did, yes, sure, he did Ire by Adekunle Gold, and he produced Money by Adekunle Gold as well. So for me, I think Fuse has done a major, thing for himself, and right now he deserves to be right there on the number 9, top 9 music producer right there in the country. It's my own personal opinion, and I think you sure should do as well believe in my own personal opinion, because I am an OG right there in the music industry, and I know what it entails to be on my list right now. Okay, on number 8, I've got Phantom. Well, Phantom is not really that popular, in the music industry. He's not really done much as regards to 2018. I think he broke into the scene, that was 2018, when he produced Burna Boy's Ye, and Ye is arguably one of the best songs, this year. Arguably one of the best songs this year. It's a major hit, a major banger by Burna Boy right there, and that was actually produced by Phantom. And well, he produced Master Groove by Wizkid as well. Master Groove, sure, one of those songs you sure can actually groove to by Wizkid, and that's 8 on my list right now. Okay, 7 on my list, I've got SARS. Well, SARS has been there, all since the days of that green. Lots of them. I think he's done a great deal for himself as regards music right in the music industry, and yeah, sure, for fans as well. Lots of guys out there, and me as well. I'm a great fan of SARS. Sorry about that. Well, SARS this year has been quite fairly quiet as well for him. He's not really done much as regards music. Yeah, maybe he sure has done lots of songs out there right in the music industry, but most of those songs probably didn't make the top 10 or top 5 charts right in the country. But he sure did some songs that quite bangers. He did the likes of Energy right there. That's by Skepta featuring Wizkid, one of the major bangers when it dropped back then. And he did one popular song that actually was the street anthem. Diet. That was Diet, Codeine Diet. Lots of actually, youths and lots of, probably should I say, men right there in their late 40s actually, vibe to that song, Codeine Diet. It sure did lasted for a very long while right there in the music industry. And Diet featured, that was DJ Anymoney featuring the likes of DJ Anymoney featuring the likes of Tiwa Savage and a host of them right there in the music industry. Diet was sure one hit you sure would love. And he did Lala Kuku Lala, that was by this guy signed under LRR Records. That's a Reminisce owned record label. That's Ola Dips. And well, he sure did Bana for Niniola. I think SARS actually he's done a great deal for himself right there in the music industry, and he's not really been a bad producer all since he's broke into the scene. As regards music. And number 6 on my list, from probably October till December, he was actually the best producer of the year. I mean, best producer for those periods. He's done a whole lot of things. I mean, as regards the street anthems and lots of songs he produced. Ebu God, he produced Biwa by Miss Keys. I'm sure you're wondering who that guy is, and that's Rexy for you. Rexy produced Ebu God. That's Lil Kesh, featuring the likes of Lil Kesh, Zlatan, and the song was by Chinkwe. Rexy was behind the production of that song. He did Biwa by Miss Keys as well. He did Zanku by Zlatan. He did Flenjo, that's Lil Kesh featuring John Kamaiti. He did Lighter, Self-Made by Lighter, and I think that was quite a very, very good period, a very good time for Rexy as regards music production. I mean, from October to December this year, he's one of the best right now, and he's actually upcoming. I mean, upcoming is in the sense that yes, he's sure going to be one of the top one producers. Maybe one day, maybe in 2019, you're sure gonna hear his name one of these days. And World 5 on my list, I've got Killer Tunes. Killer Tunes, one of the most sought after producers. I mean, as regards music generally, right there in the whole world. Yeah, sure, I sure would like to say that Killer Tunes did massive jobs right there on DJ Spino's Baba featuring Kizania. He did wonderful right there on those songs, and he produced Fake Love as well by Wizkid featuring Don Kamaiti. Fake Love, we all know how Fake Love was actually the rave of the moment when he actually broke into the music industry as far back as 2018. And he did Mutibano by Olamide as well, man. That's one great song you sure I know lots of you love. He did Lugba Lugba by Olamide, and he did Mr. Biggs by Dice Ales. That's Dice Ales is actually signed on that Chalk City. Killer Tunes produced most of the songs, and I think he's one of the most sought after producers, I mean, right there in the country as far back as 2018. As 2018 is actually concerned. And fourth on my list, I've got North Boy. North Boy produced the Soccer, produced Gucci Snake. That's Wizkid featuring this guy, the street guy, Sensami Gaja. You all know Slim Case. And he did Porsche for Mayor Kwan as well, and he did Fever for Wizkid as well. Those are bangers. I mean, those are songs that actually rocked year 2018. And third on my list, I mean, top 3 producers right in the country, man, that's Spells. Spells did a lot of things, for himself. He did good for himself, and he did good for lots of fans. I mean, fans that love music and all that. Spells, real name Benjamin Obaze. He did a wonderful job right there. He got into the music industry, that was as far back as 2009 with General Pipes, Champion. He produced that song, and 2009 Champion was one of the best songs of the year. Spells did that song as far back as 2009. He broke into the scene with that song, and I mean 2018 was so massive for him. He produced Iskaba for One Day Cool. He produced My Law for Tiwa Savage, and Lover Lover by Tiwa Savage as well. Produced Tiwa's Vibe for Tiwa Savage as well, and he did Askamaya by Teniola. And Askamaya, one of those lovely songs out there. And he did Commando, by Muti featuring Wizkid and Caesar. Man, it's been a massive year for Spells, and he's third on my list right now, one of the best producers as regards music right in the country. And second on my list right now, I've got Sparrows Beats. Sparrows Beats, he signed on the DMW Records, and he has blessed a number of DMW records. I mean, lots of them from the likes of Dremo, I mean, Power by Dremo, Assurance, and Assurance, one of the best songs from Davido, I mean, this year. And he co-produced Unwan Baby as well. He did Amaka, he produced Amaka for Two Face featuring Peruzzi. Amaka actually was a rave of the moment Amaka was on the charts for about 3, 4, 5 weeks right in the country, and it sure made mad rave. A lot of people actually love that song, and I think the man behind that song is Sparrows Beats. He did wonderfully well, and he's produced for the likes of LAX, produced for Scales as well, produced for YC, and then Sparrows Beats. Man, thumbs up, brother. You've done a lot of good for yourself. And number 1 on my list, I know you're wondering who's the number 1 on my list right now. Stand up for the champion. Let's stand up for the champion. And the champion today, I mean, he's produced lots of songs. I mean, he produced Fire by Davido. He produced Ada by DJ Equal featuring Davido. He produced Mind and Ajay for the DMW crew. And he produced Azar. Why am I Azar now? And he won Producer of the Year Afrima Awards. Man, who we're talking about today, and that's nobody other than Fresh VDM did a great job for the in the industry, for himself right there in the music industry, and for lots of guys out there in the music industry. So for me, as Fresh VDM, man, he is the man of the year for me. I mean, producer of the year 2018. And I sure know you sure love him as well, man. Me, one love for Fresh VDM, my number one producer for this year. I don't know what you think. I know you're probably thinking, yes, maybe one of your producers are out there should be on my list, but man, I'm forcing it down your throat right now. Best producer for me has got to be Fresh VDM. Well, on that note, we've got to draw the curtain of Pop Culture right on T Solid Media for this episode. I'm sure gonna be back again next episode for a nice and interesting, lots interesting, topics and all that. You sure can join in on the conversation right there on Twitter and Instagram at T Solid Media.